So what we have for you now is a panel of experts in some form in national service, and I'm really excited to give you guys a chance to ask them some questions and to hear about their service and how they've translated it into either a career or some form of lifelong commitment. And so I'm going to ask them each to introduce themselves, but just to start it off, we have Casey Fritchie, who, is that right? She's currently at the Red Cross in Morgantown. She'll tell you a little more about her role there. We have Donna Bailey, who is on her way to Swaziland with the Peace Corps. We have Missy Mayville, who is West Virginia Women Work, and then we have Dustin Smith, who's a current member with AIHA. So I'm going to let each of them kind of tell you a little bit about what they're doing now, and then a little bit about their history with national service. So Casey, if you want to start.
Okay. Is this on? Yes, it is. Okay. My name is Casey Fritchie, and thank you for having me because I don't have a history with AmeriCorps. I have to apologize. So thank you for letting the Peace Corps infiltrate your celebration. I was a United States Peace Corps volunteer in Niger, West Africa, and following that, I attended a graduate program at Illinois State that supported national service. It was free tuition once you get accepted, and that applied to both people who were in the Peace Corps, as well as future Peace Corps volunteers, and people with at least a year of national service, community service, so it applies to you as well. It was free tuition both years, and it was an exceptional opportunity. Following that, I joined up with the American Red Cross, and initially I was part of our international team, and domestic as well. So I started in Colorado and worked 2 years in Japan. I got transferred to Wyoming, and then I just switched over to West Virginia in January, where I started as the executive director of the Morgantown chapter.
My name My name is Jonna Bailey. I am an AmeriCorps alumni with Change the Future West Virginia. Do I have any Change the Future folks? Hey! Oh, it's so good to see you. I was a healthy community developer in 2013 and 2014. And I've never had another job title that's been so great as being a healthy community developer. After that, I was hired on as a market manager at the Wild Ramp, which is a year-round indoor farmers market located in Huntington, West Virginia. I recently had to quit that because I'm moving on to the Peace Corps. I'm leaving in 17 days to go to Swaziland, which is in South Africa. I think that's about all.
Hi, I am Misty Mayville. I did my service back in 1995, so yeah, it's been quite a while. I think I was one of the first people that came through the door. So yeah, this actually impacted my life. I probably wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for AmeriCorps, and I'm so happy to be an alumni. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to come back and talk to you all. I went through the Family Resource Centers, and I was stationed at Chandler Elementary. I did that for 2 years, and then we had a lady retiring, so they decided to bring me on as a contract employee. So I did that for several years while I got my degree. Did social work for a very long time, from mental health to child protective services, and then I came to West Virginia Women Work. I've been with them for about 6.5 years now, and what I do is I train ladies who want to go out and work in the construction industry. So we do a free 11-week training 2 times a year. And I've been doing that for about 6.5 years, and I was talking to my deputy director before I came, and she wanted me to remember that she was AmeriCorps too, and she did her stint, I think, back in 2006 or 7, but she actually got stationed with West Virginia Women Work, and she is now the deputy director of West Virginia Women Work. So, as you can see, I don't like talking numbers because they make me feel really old. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, obviously, if it hadn't been for AmeriCorps, I probably would be sitting here right here in front of you all. Thank you.
Hi there. I'm Dustin Smith, and I currently serve with the Appalachian Forest Heritage Area with a site called Woodlands Development Group, which is an organization.
Dustin, hold it closer. Yeah.
The volume's just a little low. Yeah, sure.
There you
Hi. Still?
No? Okay. Hi, again. I'm Dustin Smith, and I currently serve with the Appalachian Forest Heritage Area, an organization or a program that mainly focuses on cultural tourism, conservation, heritage conservation, and economic development. And I serve with a group called Woodlands Development Group, which mainly focuses on the development of affordable income rental units and the development and redevelopment of downtown properties, and supports economic initiatives in the area. And I mainly focus on redevelopment of downtown properties. My first AmeriCorps experience was with the Student Conservation Association at a National Historic Site out in Kansas. My project out there was to document the restoration of an original schoolhouse on that property. And that was a partnership between the Student Conservation Association, AmeriCorps, and the National Park Service. And that's how I got involved with my site now, which has offered me a position for the future.
Okay, thank you guys. So we all know that adjusting to AmeriCorps kind of come with challenges, and we just wanted to get a little more details about some of your rookie mistakes that you made at the beginning of your service and at the beginning of your career as well, and how did you move through that, or do you have any tips?
Okay, good, I think it's working. Peace Corps is just a little bit different because I think you make mistakes every single day. And when going into a service community, I'm originally from Illinois, so almost every place I've been has been new. And I think you have to be humbled by the experience that other people have and learn from it. A lot of the times, especially in the Peace Corps, you go through a pretty intensive training, and then you're thrown into a situation that maybe you've never seen before. And you're armed with certain levels of knowledge. At that point, I was an agriculture volunteer, and I thought, I know how to do this, this, and this. I'm going to take it, I'm going to go to my village, and it's going to be awesome. I was the biggest idiot in my village. Everybody knew how to do everything I could do. And an 8-year-old was my best friend the entire time, and he was the one guiding me through everything and telling me that I was pronouncing everything wrong. So the rookie mistake for me was just at that age, and it was several years ago, was being blindsided by how very little I knew and not being smart enough to, at the beginning, let everybody start to guide you and give and take their knowledge.
A rookie mistake that I think I definitely made, and I believe I see a lot of people make, is that you may believe it's not important to just show up or to be on time, but I found that some of my most meaningful interactions and the most incredible relationships that I've built, both in my AmeriCorps community and back home, has been through just being present and being aware at different events, talking to different people. So I would say that it's important for you all to try and talk to different people and just be present and be on time and be aware.
I would agree with both the ladies here. Also, I made a really bad mistake when I worked with Head Start. Assuming somebody was pregnant. Oh, yeah. I can still remember that, and it's been a decade ago. So, yeah. And assuming somebody could breathe. So, in my ignorance, I made people feel bad because I was not. One thing I learned, and I tell my students all the time: be quiet and listen. Stop talking and just listen. So, there's one thing I can pass on: stop talking and listen. Let everybody else make mistakes for you, because you'll remember those.
I think that the key with mistakes is being able to analyze those mistakes without overanalyzing those mistakes. So I mean, when I started this program, I was basically a kid who didn't know how to swim, who got shoved into the deep end, and then pathetically doggy paddled to the side. And I mean, at that point, you could either never go near water again, or you could jump in the next time. Life's always going to put you in uncomfortable situations, and I think that just your ability to persevere and improve is what makes a person successful.
Great, thanks everyone. So I have a couple more questions, but I want you guys to be thinking about what you'd like to ask these awesome experts. And we're so appreciative that they've come. Of course, you guys heard this morning that West Virginia's had really good AmeriCorps news this year, that we're the 5th state in the nation for producing AmeriCorps members. And I think that that's a lot because of the quality of our programs, and also because AmeriCorps is a way to provide hope for our communities and gives opportunities after for a lifetime of service. So one of the questions that I'm really interested in asking these panelists is, how did your service experience help you discover your potential?
My service experience turned out shaping my entire future. When I went into the Peace Corps, I had just graduated with my bachelor's degree, and I had a trajectory planned to go into campaigning. I had done a whole bunch of campaigning in the past throughout undergrad, and I thought this is the route I was going to take. And I was in West Africa, and one day, and I'm sorry because this is actually an HIV story, and I don't mean to scare you. A German international nonprofit came into my village, and no one speaks German in West Africa. Like, it's as simple as that. We were in a tiny sandy village, and it wasn't accessible by regular vehicles. So a Land Rover comes up, and I'm the only American living there. And all of my kids started yelling for me because they thought the Peace Corps was there, and they thought I was sick, because usually it meant I'd eaten something with a little bit of poo, and that I was sick, because that's pretty common here in the Peace Corps. So this van comes up, and they come up with a bag of condoms and a large phallic item. Is the best way I'm going to describe it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can think about it. So they come up with this bag. They don't speak French. They don't speak a local language. And they're literally giving a bunch of people in a village this giant bag of condoms. And at that point, they had asked me to translate, which I didn't know what they were talking about. All I heard them was say sexual and village. And I had been in West Africa too long to make the connection that they were HIV, and I had no idea. But eventually they gave a brochure, and it was about reproductive health. And I saw how incredibly poorly some international and regular domestic nonprofits, service organizations, get their message across. And it struck me. And overseas, I saw the Red Cross do some incredible things during my service before I volunteered and before I was staff. So I took that, and I have worked with the Red Cross for 5 years, and it has been amazing for me, and I loved every day of it so far.
One part of my service that helped me realize my potential was the tools that my managers gave me, or my program coordinators rather, gave me to help with my service. They ended up helping me with a lot more than my service, actually. The tools being self-initiative and self-motivation. It was, my AmeriCorps service year was the first time that I was kind of out on my own, doing my own service, having no one micromanaging my daily work or my daily service in my life. And so learning how to initiate my own endeavors was something that I gained from AmeriCorps that's been really beneficial even to this day.
I would have to say that AmeriCorps gave me the opportunity to go back to school. I did work in the education system, and I saw how important education was. Something that when my girls come in to interview with me and they get in class, the first thing I tell them is knowledge is power. Most people think it's something else, but it's actually knowledge. So AmeriCorps gave me the knowledge that I needed to be able to get back in school, and it gave me wonderful mentors while I was there to get done and get through my service and then move on to the next step, and without it, I probably wouldn't be.
Well, for me, I came out of college with a degree in history and no job history really except in maintenance and landscaping. The first job I actually got out of college was working at a quarry. And at that point, I knew I didn't really want to be a teacher or a museum specialist or someone who hits rocks with a hammer. But I also didn't know quite what I wanted to do. So I took a little time and I tried to figure that out. And after I figured that out, I was faced with the dilemma of knowing what I wanted to do, but not really having any experience in it. So my first AmeriCorps experience was just kind of a way for me to get my foot in the door that led me to getting this position, that led me to getting job experience and the job offer that I've received. And I think that maybe while I had potential, you don't really know you have potential until you're forced to use it. And then you gain that experience and that's what gives you the confidence to face future challenges.
Great. So I want to ask you guys, they have a variety of experience to draw from. Does anybody have any questions for any of the panelists? No. Dane was going to bring you a microphone if you don't mind. I was thinking about taking a flying leap off the stage, but it was going to turn out bad.
My question is for Justin. I want to know what advice you have for extending the food stamps.
I would say that peanut butter is a great way of extending your SNAP dollar. And also the fact that you can get cold subs at Sheetz is also another great use of SNAP benefits.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A lot of the organizations I mentioned are usually nonprofits and this sort of thing like that. And as far as the benefits concerned, they're very marginal, at least. The pay is, not as great if you were with the education to work in corporate America, this sort of thing like that. So what I'm gathering, what I've heard from you all is, I think it's just job satisfaction and being of service instead of the money component. Am I correct in assuming that? And we need a lot of that, because when it's profit driven or money driven, then the passion is not there, the results not there. But when it's done for the empathy and the passion to be of service and to see people have a better quality of life, then I think that's the overall blessing of self-satisfaction, more or less paying it forward. So that's what I wanted to comment on. Thank you.
Thanks for that observation, Alvin. I think there's another question here.
Did any of you find just a really surprising or unexpected benefit?
I can give you one of those. So I started graduate school after the Peace Corps, and I had actually applied to Illinois State into a generic program, and I got contacted by the Center for Economic Development, where they had actually just asked me if I wanted to go into it, which is completely free tuition. And in that program, I actually met my husband, who was also a Peace Corps volunteer in Eastern Europe. So and then the program coordinators turned out to be some of my best friends. You get a huge cohort of like-minded people just from your volunteer service and things you have today that people surrounding you. This is a benefit that you might not realize how often you can utilize. So my benefits have been free college, meeting my husband, and meeting just so many people around the world, actually. Oh, gosh, there you go. Thank you.
Well, I did have a surprising kind of epiphany during my service. I learned that it takes very little to be really happy, and all I really need to be happy is just some good food and to enjoy the people that I'm around and just to be around like-minded people. And having an animal helps too, and that's what I learned.
All right, any other questions?
My question was, especially for Ms. Cassandra, I think it was, basically, I'm in the same predicament where I I'm so passionate about this right now, but I already have my life planned and I'm starting on this new path and journey into the career that I thought I wanted. So I guess how were you able to make that change, that transition, and just kind of like take that leap?
I think the hardest part is where you're at right now. The part where you're afraid to take a leap. Once you're on the other side, fine. You just have to be brave enough, and I'm sure since you've had this experience, you've done crazy things already. You don't realize how strong you are. And that's what you really got to do. If all of my experience was in campaigning. If it's all one way, you can have countless volunteer opportunities to start to do some things that are more in your passion. For me, I took a Red Cross course when I was in graduate school, and that was what put me in the Red Cross. I just happened to meet a couple people. So it was grabbing onto the opportunities that you see, and if your passion, mine had been HIV/AIDS prevention, is that, and start looking at the opportunities to be another volunteer on the weekends to get more experience. It's okay, right now, even the experience you're building, no matter what you're currently doing, it's gonna translate. For me, nonprofit experience is always translated into something better. So don't feel like you're on the wrong trajectory no matter what experience you're currently getting.
Other questions? I think while you're thinking about it, if any of you would share or be interested in sharing the one sort of highest impact moment of your service, I'd be interested to know.
I have a really distinct memory of teaching, I was teaching a chronic disease self-management class to a small group of senior citizens. And after we were finished teaching the class, one of the men came up to me and thanked me for giving him this knowledge, because the interesting thing here is that he is a medical doctor, and I was actually teaching him things that he didn't know about how to manage his symptoms of his chronic diseases. And that for me was mind-blowing, incredible.
Well, that's a tough one to follow, but my project last year was this building called the Delmonte Hotel building, which had been vacant for about 20 years. And my nonprofit had absorbed it when another nonprofit was no longer able to manage it. And it was kind of the spot in town that everyone was just like, oh, I wish somebody would do something with that building, but like a lot of people had lost faith in it. And whenever I told people that that was my project, everyone was kind of like, good luck. And I was able to organize a farmers market, get the downtown, or get the lower floor redeveloped. When I took it over, it was just a gravel pit and no utilities of any sort. And so I was able to manage the construction side to get it rehabilitated, and then manage to coordinate all these vendors to come in and sell things. And eventually the top grossing vendor there decided to move her existing floral business in there and adopt the market concept that we had created. So now there's a full-time business in that bottom floor, and we're working on financing to redevelop the second and third floors. We got a couple outstanding grants right now, actually, so hopefully we get them and we're able to fully rehabilitate the building. So it was really rewarding to watch this building go from something that had really been written off to really thriving part of our downtown now.
I'm a little chilly, so if you see me hunkering like this, it's because I'm chilly and have a cold. So I think a lot of the times in volunteer service, you're always looking for the tangible and where you make that impact, and it's sometimes you just can't see it. You can't see it on the day-to-day because of how embedded you're working. And we were talking earlier about she's going into Peace Corps, and we were talking about something in my service that has kind of stuck with me. And every single day of my service, I had been with an 8-year-old boy named Kamala. So he was my best friend, hands down. He taught me the language. We hung out all the time. I used to try to translate Harry Potter for him, which probably made no sense because all I did was read Harry Potter just all the time. So we started to eat every single meal together, and it didn't feel like anything. It felt like my life. it felt like something you're doing because you love it. And there came a point where every night he would come over, and there was a night I had made some care package pad thai because it's delicious. And him and I were sitting eating together, and we were chatting, and he had left, and probably an hour later he had brought a younger kid in the village over, and he had told me, this kid's hungry, and if you have any more food, can we feed him? And yes, of course I can. Of course I can. And it was that moment where you don't see the tangibles every day. But I realized that I was building a relationship with people that meant more than some of the tangibles. I had a relationship where they felt comfortable coming to me and knowing that it's okay, we can absolutely do this. So it melted my heart quite a lot, just sitting there and working, well, talking and eating food with two little kids who were just basically making fun of me the whole time, because that's what they did. But it makes you realize that those non-tangible things, the things you can't quantify and put in a report, are probably the things you're going to take back and realize you can't change the world, but you might have changed that one life at that one moment. So that was mine.
All right. Anybody else think of a question? So my last question is, the members in this room are either leaving service soon because they finish their year, or they're in the next few months they'll be finishing their service, and they're thinking about school or another year or another program or getting a job. What is one piece of advice you would give to a graduating AmeriCorps member when they're thinking about translating their service into sustainable employment or some other trade choice?
Going down the line? Okay. Utilize what you have right now. I have been basically part of different cohorts forever, for as long as I can remember. I had my Peace Corps cohort, my graduate school cohort. I'm in a training program right now with the Red Cross where I have members for Navigation I can call anytime. But you have a great network right now that maybe will know a job lead, will know somebody who can talk to you. You can talk to me if you're interested in work with the Red Cross, and I can tell you where there are opportunities. Utilize people, because no, we're not scary. People aren't scary to talk to about opportunities. And you guys obviously have a demonstrated commitment and are able to do something really, really difficult. You haven't done a year of service for no reason. So utilize what you have. Graduate schools, there are countless graduate schools that offer a full tuition scholarship for what you're doing right now. I know because I was part of one. Get excited about that type of opportunity and just continue to leverage it to build your career to where you want it.
You may feel that some of your skills that you gained over your years of service don't translate onto a paid paper as easily, or you may not know how to write them down so well. I know that I've had that trouble whenever I was finishing, like what do I put on my resume? I volunteered for a year, that's great, but what did I do? So I actually sought help from like a professional to help me really pinpoint and articulate everything well on my resume, which I would definitely recommend. It's great to have an unbiased eye who can look at what you've done, and you can tell them what you've done, and they can help you at that there.
Networking is probably the biggest thing I teach all my students when they come in. Word of mouth is everything, especially in the trade industry. Don't be scared to get out there and do what you like. And if you like doing something, you'll never have to work a day in your life. I promise you that. So if you go and you like what you're doing, the gentleman in the back was talking about pay. Most of my ladies that I turn out, they literally go out and make probably double what I do a year, if not triple. But that's okay, because I don't want to do what they do, and they don't want to do what I do. So this is kind of scary because you're walking away, or maybe you're going to come back a year. It's up to you, but just network with the people in and around you, stay in touch with them. Word of mouth is everything. And figure out if you like something, and if you don't know, go offer up time to somebody to see if it's something that you would like, because one of the worst things I've had people do is go out and get a job, but they didn't like it. So they just turn around and walk away. So it's better to do that on the front end and think that it's something you can do versus just walking away thinking.
I would say really take advantage of the educational award that you receive. It's a huge boost, and there are a lot of different things that you can do with it besides paying back your existing loans or going back to school. You can travel abroad, take a NOLS course, get different certifications, like your EMT certification. And I'm sure a lot of you probably just heard about that. And other than that, if you would be willing to do another AmeriCorps year, look at all the different AmeriCorps programs. There are a lot of really cool opportunities out there. And maybe try something that you wouldn't normally try, and maybe you'll find that you really like it.
Great. Thank you guys so much for coming. If we could give them all a round of